Can you imagine, months after trading Luka Doncic, the Dallas Mavericks trade the number one overall pick, a.k.a. Cooper Flagg? What is up, NBA fans? Shout out to my San Antonio Spurs fans. Welcome to TSR Sports. And Miss TSR shared an article with me yesterday about potential trade scenarios for Cooper Flagg to the Spurs, the Suns, the Cavaliers, the Lakers, and the Bulls. Oh my. This is going to be a live reaction to this article. I've seen this part here staying with Dallas, but I've not seen the rest. Of course, I'll be a little biased as a Spurs fan with their trade, but I really want to take a look at this and see if any of these trade scenarios make sense and could realistically happen. Let's get into it. Offer number one. The Spurs move up to build the front court of the future. The Spurs get the number one pick. What do the Mavericks get? I can't see it yet. I'm going to guess the number 2 pick, the number 14 pick. We have their pick in the future, 2030 or 31, probably that pick, and then another first-round pick maybe? So Harper, what will be Dylan Harper, the second pick, 14th pick, and then 2 future firsts. That's my guess. What do we got? Dallas Mavericks get 2025 second pick, 2025 14th pick, 2027 Atlanta Hawks first rounder, and the return of the swap rights to Mavericks 2030 first rounder. Okay, I did not look at this article. I pretty much nailed it, right? 214, a future first rounder, and their pick back, or the swap rights back. So not an actual pick, the swap rights. I thought it was a pick. Okay. Would the Mavericks do it? Does it make sense? Let's talk about this. I'm going to dig into this article a little bit. The ultimate goal is to pair Flagg and Wemby, of course, the number one hype pick of the decade. Now, the Spurs just missed out winning the lottery. They have the assets that might entice Dallas to swap number one for number 2, okay? What should it cost to move up in the draft? In 2017, the 76ers needed to send only a single future first rounder to Boston to jump from 3 to 1. But that's not a especially useful model here because then Celtics GM Danny Ainge didn't view Markelle Fultz, the consensus top prospect in 2017, as favorably as everyone views Flagg this year. All right, so let's recreate an older draft to build the Spurs offer. Okay, I like what they're doing here. In 1993, the Warriors sent 3 future firsts in Orlando Magic to facilitate a swap of the number 3 pick Penny Hardaway for number 1 pick Chris Webber. That draft changed the lottery by Shaq and then Webber. Yeah, that changed everything. That's all I'll say. That's why we have our current lottery. That sounds about right here, with Flagg filling in for Wember, who, like Flagg, was a mega prospect coming off a standout college career, and Dylan Harper filling in for Hardaway as a big dynamic guard. To bridge the gap between these prospects, San Antonio would have to send 3 draft assets to help Dallas replenish its rather barren draft board. The Mavericks would add a late lottery pick this year, a potential attractive unprotected Hawks pick in 27, which I mean, that believes the Spurs would have no first rounders in 27, correct? You already traded our pick to Sacramento for De'Aaron Fox, I believe. And then the Hawks pick, which who knows what that'll be worth at time. And the return of their own swap rights, which they initially sent to San Antonio in the 3-team sign and trade deal that brought Grant Williams to Dallas. This article is a lot longer than I realized it was going to be. Here's the closing. This is probably one of my, now that I know the setup here, I might just read the last paragraph so we can speed things up. This trade would make a ton of sense for San Antonio, which could establish its front court of the future and perhaps the front court that would dominate the NBA for the foreseeable future while not losing any of its own future draft selections. And as long as the Mavericks like Harper, anywhere close to Flagg, oh geez, don't flame me on that one. Bad choice of words, don't kill me on that. Anywhere close to as much as they like Flagg, this swap would also make a ton of sense for them. All right, so at least let's revisit the trade real quick. Although I should have in my head, it's what I guessed it would mean. You're getting 2 picks in the first round this year in a deep draft, a pick in 2 years, and then getting your swap rights back. So it obviously makes sense for the Spurs. We have a crowded backcourt, De'Aaron Fox, Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle. For the Mavericks, how much better, because I don't watch college hoop much, how much better is Flagg over Harper? That's 3 picks plus the swap back. I guess swap rights back. I could see this happening. Kyrie Irving is out for... He's going to miss at least the first half of the season, right? Somewhere around the All-Star break. Dylan Harper could be their point guard of the future as Kyrie's getting older. He's been injury-prone in his career, too. This actually makes sense. Do I think it'll happen? No. Would I like to see it happen? Yes. Wemby, Flagg, I don't know here. Castle and Fox, yeah. I'd be all on board for this. Of course, if Flagg ends up being a bust and Harper becomes a superstar, then it'll be bad on us. And of course, vice versa. Harper becomes a star, flagging him a superstar, Harper's a bust. Who the heck knows? We never know how these picks are going to play out. We can guess, but I think it won't happen. But it makes sense. Offer number 2. Oh my gosh, this is a Cavs form new star trio and Flagg, Mobley, and Garland. So the Mavericks get Donovan Mitchell, a 2031 first round pick, a 2028 first round swap, and a 2030 first round swap. Cavs get Cooper Flagg, guards Javon Carter and Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, PJ Washington, and Daniel. Well, this is a lot of moving parts. The Lakers get Jared Allen, which they do need a big, and then the Bulls get Dalton Connect 4, Caleb Martin, three second round picks. I don't even want to look at this because this thing is confusing and I don't have an hour to break this down. This is ridiculous. This is way too much going on, way too many moving parts. I'm just going to say no just because it's too convoluted. It's too messy. I think not. We're going to move on. All right, a trade that's 2 teams. The Mavs pick up Booker and all right. So the Mavericks get Devin Booker, a first rounder this year, a late first rounder, a 2028 first rounder. That's the first rounder, the 2029 first round pick swap. The Suns get Cooper Flagg, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, and Caleb Martin. Wow. So you're essentially replacing Klay Thompson with Devin Booker. This one's tough, guys. What do you think? You're getting an established all-star with Devin Booker for somebody that might be a star in Cooper Flagg. I don't know about this one. The Dallas Mavericks are more in win-now mode, and the Suns are in blow-it-up mode. That Beal, Booker, Durant did not work whatsoever. They're going to be stuck with Beal until his contract's over, which is, 1 or 2 years. KD's obviously going to try to move on from him if they can. It makes sense for the Suns. I don't know. Mavericks fans, I know there's a few of you that watch the channel. Would you trade the number 1 pick for Devin Booker? What's the last paragraph say? In the hypothetical scenario in which Durant is moved before the draft, the Suns being able to include potential assets from such a deal would also would most likely allow them to make a more competitive offer than was being suggested here. Okay, so it's contingent on Durant moving. But that's okay. And the one trade that is hard to pass on. Wait. Oh, I thought. All right, so I got confused. I thought when I saw all these teams up here that the Lakers they were trying to say the Lakers could get Cooper Flagg. This is just them being part of the trade. All right, so I got confused. I did say there was going to be a live reaction to it. All right, so it's actually Dallas keeping Cooper, the Spurs, and the Suns. These other teams are part of a big trade. Did not realize that. Did not read the article first because I wanted to do a live reaction. I'm going to jump back to the Spurs one. I'm a Spurs fan. Would I do this? If I'm Brian Wright, would I trade the number 2 pick, the number 14 pick, the Hawks first rounder, and the swap rights to their 2030 first rounder? Actually, as I look over this, I think that might be a little too much. Is the number 1 pick that much further away from the number 2 pick in cards of value? I tell you what I would do on this, 100%. The number 2 pick, the number 14 pick, and the swap rights. I think we try to keep the 2027 Hawks first rounder, and instead of maybe putting that in, give them 2 second-round picks. So that way you're giving them essentially 5 picks total. I think that's a little too much, but I could see it happening on the Spurs. I could see the Spurs offering that. I just don't know if Dallas is going to be willing to make a trade like this because they had the Luka Doncic trade a few months ago. Fans were obviously upset, as they should be. And then if you trade Cooper, essentially trade Cooper Flagg, are fans going to go to Dallas and burn down the arena? Don't do that, by the way. It's going to be interesting how things play out. I've talked about on this channel about the Spurs trying to trade up for him. There are other teams that certainly could do so as well. It's going to be an interesting, next 3.5 weeks to see what happens. It's going to be fun. I'll keep an eye on things. Of course, try to report news when it comes through. This was fun going over this. Drop a comment down below. Do you think any of these trade scenarios could happen? Do you think the Spurs could pull it off? Do you think the Suns could pull it off by trading Devin Booker? or that 4-team convoluted trade that I barely looked at that actually makes sense to you. Like TSR, that one's good. Should have went with that. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go.